COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. When you think about it, more lives this year than any other year for the past 100 years.
That was the man who says he's more qualified to lead our country than President Trump during a speech this week in Pittsburgh. Was it a simple prompter mess up or something more serious? Let's hear from both sides of the aisle here. Sinclair Political Commentator Ameshia Cross and member of the President's National Security Education Board, host of America First on Salem Radio, and Sinclair media contributor Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Ameshia, I'll start with you. Once is a slip up, maybe even twice is a slip up. Dozens of times is a pattern. There have been many, many times where the man who wants to be president is screwing up numbers. I'm concerned about it. I think there may be something more going on here. What do you say, Ameshia?
I think that what we've seen across, Trump acolytes, as well as a lot of conservatives across this country in general, is a push to try to find some way to peg down Joe Biden and make the case against him. And thus far, they haven't really worked. It was Sleepy Joe, Joe hiding in his bunker, hiding in the basement, when in actuality, he was protecting himself from COVID-19 because he is in his 70s. That is a large group when we know I'm focusing in. I'm focusing in on his speech pattern. He's having problems. He's losing his thought process. He's losing his words. Sebastian, he forgot the Bill of Rights. He forgot very simple, basic stuff. He's stumbling. What do you say, Sebastian?
To quote sleepy, creepy Beijing Biden, come on, man. I mean, seriously, Ameshia says it's hard to find the problems. Every time he opens his mouth, there's an issue. There's a reason why he gave that stilted speech. He couldn't read it off the teleprompter, and then he ran away from the podium without taking questions. There's a reason that no event Biden does goes beyond 6:30 at night, because as Brit Hume, who's one of the most sober journalists out there, said on a recent podcast interview, he said, everybody knows that this man has severe cognitive issues. This has nothing to do with stuttering in high school, not knowing the difference between your sister and your wife, that Super Tuesday isn't on Thursday, not being able to quote the Bill of Rights, or saying something like, the last 100 years, more deaths by corona, I don't know, you know what it is. Come on, man, the guy's senile.
And at one point, he, again, these are just some examples, but he talked about 150 million people dying at the behest of guns, and that's just an insanely inaccurate number. Ameshia, let's be honest. Is there any concern among Democrats that he may be slipping a bit?
I think that for, those who are watching, there's nobody on this panel who is a doctor, and consequently nobody who is Joe Biden's doctor. I think it's a problem when you want to label or consistently speak to someone's mental fitness and mental health when you're not qualified to do so. But what I do know is that we have a president in the White House who refuses to acknowledge his culpability in the COVID-19 cases that continue to ravage America. A president in the White House who went to Kenosha just yesterday and did not help the situation. He added fuel to the fire of racism. He refuses to acknowledge the fact.
Okay. Ameshia, I'm going to stay with you. I know I cut you off again, but I want to stay on topic here. I'm going to stay with you. It's not about I'm not talking about the president of the United States. I'm talking about the man who wants to be president of the United States. Are you at all concerned? And you're right. I'm not a doctor. I have no right to weigh in on his mental capabilities or capacities. Are you, though, concerned as a political pundit that this is the guy who's going to go up against Donald Trump on a debate stage? Ameshia.
I'm absolutely not concerned. This is a man who has had 4 decades devoted to public service, a man who has sponsored and supported and has been a friend of the Congressional Black Caucus for decades. This is a man that I have full faith in terms of his leadership as well as his capability to get us out of the quagmire that Donald Trump has walked the nation through.
Sebastian, there's rumors Nancy Pelosi saying that maybe Biden shouldn't debate Trump. Do you think we're going to see debates at the end of this month?
I think it's a win-win for the president either way. They're petrified of him not having a debate because he knows that my boss, Donald Trump, would crush him. As a result, if he doesn't debate them, he'll look like the coward that he is, who's done nothing for America for 47 years. In fact, destroyed or helped to destroy the black community. Remember what he said about, I don't want my children growing up in a racial jungle. That's Joe Biden. That is Jim Crow Joe. If he does agree to a debate, it's going to be at least one debate. And he's just not up to it, because it's not teleprompters. It's actually debating. Mm-hmm. It's not a script without questions. He's going to have to deal with a man who crushed 16 of his own rivals from the GOP and then Hillary.
Right. Go ahead, Ameshia, final thought, less than a minute.
Well, Joe Biden has said on the debate stage several times before, as we can recall, this is not his first run at running for president. He has debated quintessential people before, and I think that he'll definitely be able to handle himself this time.
All right. You know, I guess if I'm the Trump campaign prepping him for these debates, I would be just peppering him with numbers. Because I'm just telling you, you're right, I'm not a doctor, I don't claim to be, but you can tell when people are struggling, when they're struggling with things. And I pity, sometimes I watch this, and I actually pity the man because he's struggling so hard to find his words. It's just, I can't imagine what this debate, I'll tell you what, we're going to pull up the chair, we're going to get a 6-pack of beer and get a whole bunch of popcorn for that first debate, see if there's debate number 2, 3, and 4. Sebastian and Ameshia, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Harry.
Thank you.